Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Lindsay. If you're new here, welcome. Happy to have you. Today's video, you convinced me to do this video. It is of my top sensory fails. It's going to be a story time. These are kind of the most significant sensory fails related to their context. I have a really bad memory, and so I couldn't tell you what I ate for breakfast. Anything that's outside of my normal daily, weekly, monthly routine, I just don't remember it. But because of the context and significance of these stories, I'm sure you'll see it's why I do remember them. Unfortunately, if you're easily triggered, offended by somewhat disturbing content, you might want to click out of this one. So, all right, here we go. All right, it was my first job. I was at the young age of, I think I was actually 13 still, but probably technically 14 on paper. I was working at a snack stand over at a beach, and I would take a ferry to work every day. Sounds really nice, right? It was a great first job to have. However, there was a day in particular that there was lots of flies around, and I was not having the chaos of the flies anymore in my life. I was over it. They had got me too many times, and I was on a warpath with a fly swatter. So what I end up doing is hopping on the bow of the ferry, the front of the boat, and I'm just like out for vengeance, right? I'm ready to get the next fly that I see. I start walking, and I see one at the end of the boat, right? Now, meanwhile, all my little people and friends and people who I work with are all sitting up there on the dock, and they're watching me do this whole thing. So I jump on the boat. I see this fly in the back of the boat, and I'm like, I'm gonna get that fly. So I'm walking with the fly swatter, keeping my eye on the target, eye on the prize, and all of a sudden, everything goes dark, and I am falling into a pit in which then I am attacked by sharp objects and then covered in blood. So what happened in this scenario is that I was not taking in my sensory surroundings outside of that one fly, and did not realize that the entire center of the boat, of this very large ferry boat, was opened into the engine room because there was engine maintenance going on. So as I go to chase the fly, I end up falling 6 feet down into an engine hole, and to which everyone comes running. Anyway, I was reminded of that scenario for many years moving forward. Story number 2 is pretty simple. I was dating a gentleman, I think I was 15 years old, who went to my school, and he invited me to go to a 4th of July party, at a 4th of July barbecue at his house with his friends and family and everything. And I was a little bit nervous. I was like, okay, I don't know all these people. It's going to be crazy, but I'm going to go and I'm going to make a good impression, right? Optimistic. Very good. So we're playing some kind of catch game in the pool, and the ball flies out of the pool, and I say, hey guys, it's cool, I'll get it. So it's kind of a half above ground, half below ground pool, right? So I go out, I grab the ball, I go in, put one hand on the pool to do cool little like jump over the poolside edge thing, and I jump over, slam my left foot into the side of the ledge of the pool, face plant into the water. And not only that, I mean, okay, so not a great landing, that's okay. My foot was so damaged that I had a flip-flop. I could not stick my foot in my flip-flop like 20 minutes after this whole scenario happened. So that was embarrassing. It was extremely painful. Everyone was kind of nice though. They didn't try to make that big of a deal out of it, even though it was slightly embarrassing. Next story. We're getting into college, folks. All right. So this story is one of rollerblades. And I was a very, very, very basic rollerblader. I can go straight, and I can sort of slow down if I'm on flat ground, okay? So I had a friend in college who was a very good rollerblader, and she said, Lindsay, let's go rollerblading together. Now, context for this story and the next, I was in school, I went to college on a music scholarship. So I played the upright bass, And I had to be very careful of my hands, wrists, that kind of thing, because literally lots and lots of money depended on me keeping those parts of me very safe, right? We come back a different way towards my college, and this is what ends up happening. This bridge was a very, very high incline and a very, very steep decline. So she goes over the bridge, speeds ahead, and I'm kind of left in the dust, doing my best, right? Okay. So as you go over this bridge, I'm kind of going up and I'm starting to look down, and I realize that there's traffic at the very end, the very base of the bridge. And so you need to be able to do a hard left turn so you don't run into traffic, right? Additionally, the speed that I realized I was starting to pick up as I was starting just in the very beginning of the decline of the hill of the bridge was getting real fast. So immediately I'm like, this is not good. I'm either going to go flying into traffic, or I'm going to trip over something and I'm going to land on my hands and I'm going to break a wrist and lose my scholarship, right? Two main things going on in my head, death and basically death. So what I started to do was, there's a railing on my right side. I started to tap the railing to get myself to slow down, because I'm like picking up speed very, very quickly. I ended up, so I'm on the sidewalk, there's a railing, there's traffic to my right side. I end up tapping the side of the railing a little bit too hard, which makes my rollerblades turn to the right side, and I go flying over the barricade of the railing into traffic, right? And over this like cement thing as well. My shins were just destroyed. And then I'm like, I'm okay guys, it's all right, don't stop all the traffic on my behalf. So I crawl back over, slowly walk myself down the rest of the bridge, to which my friend is standing at the bottom and is like, where were you? And I'm bleeding. And then she was like, oh gosh, what happened? And I was like, it was too steep. All right, another great story related to my college career. I was a little bit older at this point, and I was in an apartment with some roommates, and I was opening up a package of cheese. Now, usually not a big deal, right? And what happened was, I took that knife and I stabbed it through and somehow just reached my hand on the other side. And I reached my finger, right? I reached the pad of my left pointer finger to the point that it was a deep incision and was bleeding profusely. Okay, so in most normal circumstances, all right, whatever, you bandage it up, you let it heal for a few weeks, it'll be fine. But this is the thing. I was there on a music scholarship, and your left pointer finger as an upright bass player is probably one of the most important fingers you have on both of your hands combined. And I had my juries coming up that next week. So I'm practicing with my teacher like 2 days later, and I'm playing my bass and literally just bleeding down my whole left side of my instrument, to the point where she was like, we're stopping, you can't do this anymore, and you're just gonna have to go and let yourself heal and give it your best shot. And you know what? That's what I did. And it was fine. I rehearsed the music in my head over and over again without my instrument, which I think helped a lot too. But, INTJs and people with sensory towards the bottom, we're just really giving it our best shot, trying our best to do the thing. And I have one last story for you. So this one happened probably about 5 years ago. It's Thanksgiving. I'm a vegan. My family said, Lindsay, cook your own vegan Thanksgiving for the family. And I was like, sounds good, bring it on. So I had a whole plan, right? I had all these foods I was going to make. I was experimenting on basically all of them, but I knew it was going to be good. And I really had, the biggest thing right for me is time. So I had a very specific timeline to get everything kind of through and done, and the times everything should cook, so that everything ends up coming out hot at the end when everyone's about to eat dinner, right? So I'm going along my plan, making some dope food, everything's going great, and I'm at my very last dish. And at this point, I'm dehydrated. I probably haven't eaten anything all day. I'm slightly delusional of the heat in the kitchen. There's just a lot going on, but family's doing their thing out there in the family room, and I'm in the kitchen doing the thing. And I'm on my last dish. It's like the critical point because all the timings now are coming together. So I was using one of those stick blender things, right? In a bowl. I was using a stick blender in a bowl and blending my sweet potatoes together. And then I pour them out into a pan, and I had the stick blender. There's a little bit of sweet potato left in the thing. So I go out to scoop it out with my finger while it's still plugged in, and I just press my finger down on the trigger, like fully, like intentionally press it down. I just like, all of the pieces were just, there was just too much going on, and my brain just misfired and was like, time to hit the on button while my finger is inside of it. So it hits. Obviously, I like take my finger off as soon as it makes a rotation, but it makes a very, very deep incision onto my my left finger, but on the front of it this time, not on the other side. And at the same time, my husband walks through, and I think my mom does at the same time, and I'm just grabbing paper towel. Fine, nothing is wrong, everything is good. Ben's like, oh no, she cut her finger. And so I'm trying to like get this thing bandaged up while still getting my sweet potatoes into the oven. And it ended up working out okay. I ended up tying a rubber glove around my finger, but that's the favorite story that Ben likes to tell everyone because it was pretty good. Anyway, so those are some of my top sensory fails. I hope you guys can relate, but hopefully not too much. Most of my significant injuries came from each one of those. Other than that, I don't really get hurt too much because I don't really do that much that's that dangerous. If I'm planning to do it, it usually turns out fine because I've kind of run all the scenarios through. But the problem is with like the surprise sensory chaos is that it's not really in your realm of planning, and it just pops out and it'll attack and bring you down each time. So anyway, that's it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, please like and subscribe, and I will see you in my next video.